Marjory founded Friends of the Everglades because she knew that there's nothing more important or impactful to lawmakers than grassroots voice of a passionate public. And we're so grateful that Jessica has picked up Marjory's mantle and once again rallied Floridians to make their voices heard. So thank you, Jessica. And with that, I'm very proud to present the 2026 Marjory Stoneman Douglas Defender of the Everglades Award to Jessica Namath.
Thank you. Thank you, Philip. It's an honor to be here today. For those of you that don't know me, I've lived in Florida for 40 years, almost all of which was spent in Tequesta, the northernmost town in Palm Beach County. I grew up on the Loxahatchee River, where days revolved around the tides and seasons around the Mullet Run and Manatee. I've watched the Florida I once knew evolve to the Florida my children now know. And while change may be one of our only constants, I think Miss Marjory had the perfect response to that. There must be progress, certainly, but we must ask ourselves what kind of progress we want and what price we want to pay for it. Unwilling to pay the price of losing what I loved, nature, I volunteered in our community and spent 5 years on our Environmental Advisory Committee as both a member and chair, advocating to protect wild Florida and a way of life that valued and protected our natural resources. In doing so, I learned a good deal about politics and decision-making in our state and the importance of being a nuisance where it counts. Yes. Having been raised to do what I believe is right, regardless of whatever adversity stands in the way, being a nuisance for nature came naturally. So when our decision makers and politicians suggest terrible ideas like golf courses and state parks or land swaps for development, I can't help but voice my opposition. Social media has enabled me to have a platform to share my opinions publicly and quickly, and I was fortunate to form a grassroots group called Floridians for Public Lands. So last summer, when public land in Big Cypress, in the heart of the Everglades, was seized by the state, I had a unique opportunity to vocalize my opposition. What many might not realize is how deeply personal that land seizure was to my family. We have a personal connection to Big Cypress and the jetport. My kids have swamp hiked and explored countless corners of the glades, seen the Milky Way in the once international dark sky, camped at Trail Lakes and Off Loop Road, and spent Earth Days at the Miccosukee Indian Village, and also prayer walked almost all of 41, learning from many, including Miss Betty Osceola. So I was acutely aware of how much time, money, and effort had gone into restoring the River of Grass and the importance of that land to its indigenous people and the impact a detention facility would have to the community and ecosystem. Hearing the rhetoric that there was nothing there, just alligators and pythons, and that it would have zero environmental impact infuriated me. My husband happened to live merely 3 miles from the jetport when I met him, and that's where home base became again last summer in late June. We watched the endless parade of semis and trucks roll in, and I took up post doing what I've seemingly done best, become a nuisance. So the environmental impacts were obvious from day one to anybody standing on the side of the road across from the jetport's entrance, a road I'd once been able to drive down and park on that was now blocked off by state troopers. You could smell exhaust and bubbling asphalt. I saw birds killed and a once dark sky lit up like a sports stadium. I watched as mosquito exterminators and heavy machinery made their way into one of the most ecologically sensitive and unique areas in the world. The noise was deafening, the chaos dangerous, and the peace disturbed. People said more times than I could count that Marjory must be rolling in her grave, but I don't believe that she was ever one to lay down and roll over, so I'm fairly certain she was instead pacing furiously, waiting for us to do something. And Friends of the Everglades did. Filing the lawsuit against the state and federal government, along with the Center for Biological Diversity and the Miccosukee tribe, let the world know that the destruction of our country's first national preserve was unacceptable to Floridians. I'm proud to be a part of the ongoing fight and grateful we remain undeterred by the opposition. It's a fight that's far from over, and those of us that care must remain steadfast in our commitment to winning back our public land and protecting the Everglades so many of you have been dedicated to for decades. As the great Marjory Stoneman Douglas said best, there are no other Everglades in the world. They have always been one of the unique regions of Earth, remote, never wholly known. Nothing anywhere else is like them. 3 generations of my family are here today, and I'd like at least 3 more generations to experience the Everglades and wild Florida we're all fighting to protect. And as Marjory once challenged, the Everglades is a test. If we pass it, we may get to keep the planet. I intend to pass the test and hope the rest of you do too, but it'll take unwavering commitment and endless pressure endlessly applied. So thank you all for taking the time to be here, and I encourage you to continue helping us fight this fight until we win. Thank you.